In just 1 second, I'm going to be introducing author Lauren Denton. And I had talked to Lauren back in November about her book, The Hideaway. And this book, The Hurricane Season, comes out today. And I'm already seeing so many great reviews about it. I am so happy for her. She is adorable. I cannot wait to talk to her about this newest book. So here is Lauren. Hi everyone, I am so excited to be speaking again with author Lauren Denton. And we're going to be talking about her newest book. Last time we talked about The Hideaway. Today we're going to be talking about her newest book that comes out 2 weeks, hurricane season. I love it. You got to show that cover again.
Yeah,
This is
beautiful.
I thought I loved The Hideaway's cover. I don't know. You should whoever's picking these.
I know. She's done a great job. They're
It's
really
so
gorgeous.
beautiful. And that's how I found it on Instagram, because people are making pictures out of this book cover. I don't know if you've seen that, but there are these crazy people that are so artistic, more than me.
Yes.
And they're making they put flowers around it, and
Right.
I was
I know. It's amazing. It's like an art form. The bookstagrammers, they take gorgeous photos. And when I try to take a picture of my book, it never looks that way.
I know, I do it on my carpet or something, and
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
there
On
is
top
a
of the
woman.
table.
I just found her, and I hope she finds this book. I will send her this copy. She gets her fingernails done in the cover of the book.
That's awesome. I
And
haven't
all the
seen that.
bookstagrammers are going crazy over her. She's blowing up because they're like, how are you doing? I don't know how she does it, because it's so, and of course, look at my rat, look at my
Yeah.
nails, okay?
This will be pretty on
Right.
fingernails.
I'm
Right.
going to send it to her. I am. I'm going to be like, can you do this one? Because
Yeah.
I've seen
That's
some
awesome.
crazy ones that she's done, and I don't know how, whatever. But anyway, so that would be a good book
Just
cover
paint my
for it.
fingernails.
I know. I'm showing. I'm like, no, don't look at my nails.
Uh-uh.
Well, I feel like it came out so quick, but when we had talked the last time, The Hideaway had been out. So really,
Right.
they are a year apart, even though
Yes.
my phone goes.
Yeah.
I'll turn my phone off. And you did it again. I love this story so much. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
I'm so glad.
Oh, this was more emotional for me, I think. Are you finding that from people? Are people saying that besides me? I was just
Yeah.
very emotionally invested in this.
I think so. I think the themes in it just hit people in a different place than The Hideaway did. Yeah. It was more emotional for me. I think it was easier for me to, well, not easier, but I don't know, putting myself in these two women's points of view and in their lives was, I guess, kind of similar to The Hideaway, with very different lives.
Yes.
And this is a whole different situation, able to kind of put. So yeah, I think there's more emotion in a lot of ways in this book.
Yeah, and neither one of those women is me. So,
Right.
but then I found myself getting attached to both of them. So, the main character, Betsy, she doesn't have any children, but she has this fantastic husband, that you also love throughout the book. But so that life isn't mine, and then her sister Jenna, her life isn't mine really, except for that I have been a single mom, but it's still different because she has interests. I really dug into the kids, and she saw a little bit more, she went the other way, but then I was following her right there. I was like, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's neat in a book when you can empathize with the character that maybe makes choices that are really different from the choices you would make.
Yeah.
But you still can kind of see how they're making those choices.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to do with her.
Yeah.
Right.
And I love that Betsy, how she steps up, and and her mothering goes right. You can tell that she's the natural mother, but I do know women like that.
Sure.
They're, having a hard time. And that wasn't me, because I have 6 children. It's not me.
Couldn't relate at all.
I can't relate at all, actually. But, my daughter, and she's going to be watching this, but she had 2 little boys, and then she had what you want to call a hard time getting pregnant with her third, which was 3 months. And I kept telling her, I'm like, that's not real life. That's only our life. Like we think that's hard, but that's not what real people that suffer with, fertility issues. I mean, my heart goes out to them because I didn't know, what that's like. And so did you relate? Did you know anybody like that, or did you just base it?
Yeah. We actually went down that road, but so it's very familiar to me, Betsy's story, to write a book about infertility because nobody really wants to read a book about infertility. I didn't want to write that book, so I really made a attempt I wanted this to be their life post all the trying and the doctors and all that kind of stuff. I wanted to see them after they sort of closed the door on, like, this is just not going to happen for us, so we're going to move forward and move on with our life. So that's the part I wanted to see. And then we get glimpses of that, kind of her thinking back on that part of her life. And sad, and I didn't want to write about that part of her life. But I definitely related to her feelings of, as a woman, feeling like you're not able to do what you're supposed to do, or your husband not able, things not working the way they're supposed to. But I wanted to give her sort of a hope, and I don't want to give any spoilers, but I wanted to give her hope just in her life.
Yes.
Regardless of what happened.
Right. Exactly. Because I think part of it, I did have an aunt that she, of course, this was back in the 60s, so it's a little bit different because they have very, very sophisticated things now. But she had tried to get pregnant. They couldn't. I don't know how long they tried. But as soon as they adopted a boy and a girl, she got pregnant.
You hear that so much. Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but it seems to happen.
Yeah, it really does. So my girl cousins, they were like 6 months apart in age because of how that happened, and I think in a weird way, it's almost like when you take the pressure off of that, and just,
I think that is a lot of just, you sort of give up a little bit, and you give up that trying to control it. And then sometimes that's when things happen. And I know people too who have kids, adopted and biological kids, less than a year apart because that happens. So maybe it is a little less stress.
Right. Kind of, and I always look at it as like God's timing too,
Sure. Yeah. It was out of your hands completely.
It's out of your hands, and you think you know the right time, but
Right. Exactly.
I kind of always look
exactly
at it.
Right.
And that's what I kept telling my daughter. I really did, because she was really struggling with, wanting, she thought she was going to be able to say it's going to be this month. Yeah. And it's like, I've never had that happen anyway. I have 6 children, and that's never been a thing that I can say, oh, I want it this month.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I know. That's just one thing that there's very little control about. But so I loved reading that. I mean, that was just, so there are these sisters. I don't have a sister, but I do have daughters that are sisters. Daughters who are sisters.
Yeah. I don't have a sister. I have a brother, but I have 2 daughters. Right. So it was really fun for me to kind of explore that relationship that I don't know personally, but I hope, thinking of my 2 daughters and their relationship as they get older, it was kind of neat to think of what that might be.
Yeah, and I have a brother too. I have a younger brother, so I'm the older. So I kind of related to Betsy in that sense, her desire to like kind of mother. I know I feel that, but when your daughters are pretty young, right?
They're 5 and 8.
Yeah, okay. So flash forward to them in their 20s, which is what I have. And my daughters are 4 years apart, and they do things on their own that I don't get invited to. They have conversations that I am not invited to. I'm not even kidding. Like, I don't know. I had this envision because I have 4 boys. So I pictured like the 3 of us, like, we're the girls,
Right. Stick together.
Stick together. And sometimes they're like, I'll see that they were somewhere or that they're doing. And I'm like, wait a second.
Why didn't you invite me?
My kids have a group text, my 6 children, and then any spouses they have a group text that I am not allowed to be on.
Oh, no, that's awesome.
And when I called my daughter out on it the other day because she was like on that text, and I was like, well, add me. And she's like, we talk about you, Mom. I'm like, what? What do you say? She's
you need to get their phone and read the text, see what's being said.
I do have control of some of those phones. I don't know. It was just so shocking. Like, I don't know. Even though my brother and I talked about our parents, of course, like that's what you do, but
sure, you do.
You do. But,
technology makes.
Yeah.
Yeah, technology makes it easier.
Technology makes it easier, and it's not fun being on the other end. So
right.
So these women are, they're adults, so they're figuring out their adult relationship, and I love how you wove like the parents in and out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because don't you think, even with you and your brother, it's like you had the same childhood but different?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you just you have the same experience, but you become different people, and I think. They haven't lived together for a long time in the same town, so they kind of have to figure each other out as adults now, and they're not the kids that they were once. And yeah, my brother and I have a much different relationship now as adults than we did when we were growing up in the same house and at each other's throats all the time. It's much different. It's much better. And I like to view my characters and think, what would they be like 5 years after the story ends, or how does they relate? As friends, Betsy and Jenna, having a friendship. I hope that would be what happens.
Yeah, and also that you have, different memories. Sometimes I'll have a memory and I'm like, I don't remember that. Like, it's crazy. We're in the same house, but it's like his memories are so much different than my memories.
Sure. That is crazy how that happens.
Yeah, exactly. So I love that. But I do have a favorite. I always pick on Fridays. I pick favorite things from each of my books that I post that week. And my favorite part is the last line. And I realized that I could say it because it does not give anything away. Okay?
Right.
Because people could read it, but they're not going to know anyway. So you might as well just read the book. But it is my favorite line of this whole book. And it's hope shining like a beacon in the dark places.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm glad that was your favorite line.
It was. And I was like, oh, Lauren, that is such a great way to end this book.
Oh, good. Yes. And it's not a spoiler because it doesn't.
No, it doesn't lead to anything.
Right. Yeah. I just love that idea in a lot of things, and I think it applies to so much in our lives right now. But we're all looking for the things that give us hope, and the ways we can kind of shine a little bit of light in times that are dark and scary often.
Right. And I wanted to look this up, but now that I have you, and I didn't look this up, I can just ask you, because I always like to look certain things up. But Hurricane Ingrid, was that a hurricane?
No, it was not. I had to work really hard to find a name that was not taken.
I know. I was like, okay, so if it was, I don't remember, but maybe she put one in that I didn't remember. But I love the tension that you used because my mom lived in Florida. Okay, and she revolved her life around hurricane season.
Yeah, sure.
And people do, because it affects them.
Yeah.
It's a huge part of, thank goodness. I mean, she did not experience this year. She died a couple of years ago. I don't know. This was a crazy.
It was. Right. We were in the middle of, I was finishing writing this book and doing edits in the middle of this really horrible hurricane season. And I was kind of glad the book wasn't coming out this past year, because it just would have been a little too close to home. And I kind of based, so in 2004 and 2005, that's when we had Hurricane Ida.
Right.
The hurricanes just kept coming, and my family's in Mobile. We have a place at the beach, so we're constantly, we're really watching the weather in the summer. So I kind of based the summer in the book on those two, where it was tense. So we were never really knowing where they were going to hit. And I liked the tension that from the natural world, and then the tension from sort of Jenna, the hurricane, also coming into Betsy and Ty's life.
Yes.
The whole hurricane, who live way down south.
Yeah, and I was in Dallas when that hurricane hit Houston.
Wow.
And then I came home, and then the other one, it was like wherever I was in the country. It was like,
they were going to you.
it was a crazy, crazy season. But it's just, that is how people live that are near hurricanes. If you are not in that part of the country, that is what they deal with. They watch the weather. They, and then it's almost like you can't take what the weather people are telling you. Like sometimes they're like, oh, it won't even hit you. Don't even worry about it. Because we saw this year, like they really just don't know.
Yeah.
And, you know,
right.
so
Until it's right off the coast, they can't tell you where it's going to hit.
Exactly. And even as it's hitting, like they don't know the path. So it is a very tense, and I was feeling myself with the tension building up, and that's why I was going to look it up. I was like, did she pull in that hurricane?
No, I made up the names because I really needed them to be in certain places. I needed the storms to kind of do what I needed them to do for the story. So rather than try to take one that had already hit and have to follow its path, I just kind of made up my own.
Right. Well, what is coming? Okay, so this one is coming out. So you're in full, like, book promotion mode at the moment.
Right. Yes. Definitely.
And this video is going to be coming out on that day. So I'm going to make sure that the video is released with the book.
Right.
But what do you got coming up next? Like, are you already...
Well, I turned in a manuscript for a third book in February. So it will come out next February. Of 2019, and I love the story. We don't have a title yet. We're working on title and cover right now, but it's another story set in the Deep South in Alabama. 3 generations of women who live on a red dirt road. Daughter and then her teenage daughter. It's a really fun story, so I'm already getting excited about that, and that's way down the line.
Well, I love your books because I read a lot of books. A lot of them are thrillers recently. I don't know. They kind of go in cycles, but a lot of them have been these like domestic thrillers, I guess they call them. And I've been so tense. I've been looking at my neighbors differently. I don't know if you've noticed like all the neighbor books coming out. I go out to my car and I'm like, do I know you? And
I think I know you, but what secrets do you have?
Right. But when I read your books, it's just like I get to settle into this nice story, and it's always very character driven, and and I become so attached to them, and it kind of takes me out of the world of tense like
yeah. There's not going to be any murders in my books.
No, not any creepy people following anybody around.
Yeah, I'm glad. Thank you. I'm glad you've enjoyed them. I think they're a good antidote sometimes to other difficult things, or all of the psychological thrillers that are out right now.
Right.
Mine could be a nice break.
Yeah, it is, and I love reading different. Of course, I love those. Everybody does. Everybody loves, but I love like when I'm reading one of your books, like I'm like, yes, I don't have to think. I don't have to get that stressed. This is gonna be awesome. Yes. It's gonna be a nice family story, so and that's great and that's your thing, and it gets to be like your thing, and women love that. So
my goal is to write a book that I want to read, because I'm kind of the book's first reader, so I just try to write the types of books I like to read, and like you, I read really widely. I read the thrillers, I read the historical fiction, but when it comes to me writing my own stories, far down in the South, because that's the place I know. So yeah, I'm making a little path for myself.
Yeah, no, and that's what's awesome, especially as you get into your third and fourth books, it becomes like, and your covers become so, like everybody knows them. Yeah, and did you see another thing on Instagram is people making artwork out of the book? Let me see the book binding on your book. Like
right here?
Yeah, people will make art, like pictures with their book. You got to see it.
No, I haven't seen it.
Yes. So I wanted to see what color got on the book binding, because
it's kind of the dark green from the trees.
They will use that. Trust me. I have a whole new like vision for my bookcase now, because I used to be like really crazy about putting them in alphabetical order, or nonfiction and then fiction, and I've got all kinds of crazy like OCD ways of organizing them. But now I'm like, I never looked at the binding cover. Now I can make like, or they'll do rainbows with them. I just like, I don't know. Maybe I need an hour.
my bookshelves are just thrown. There's no rhyme or reason. They're just all over the place.
I don't think I have the hours in my day to like coordinate colors. I might,
Yeah.
but it does look like something to do for the future. I will keep it in mind.
Yeah. On a slow day, you can rainbow your bookshelf.
Exactly. Well, thank you, Lauren. I'm so happy we finally got to do this. It's so good to talk to you again, and I can't wait for your next book. Please tell me about it, because if it's coming out next February, then you should be getting.
I'll be back. Yes, I would love to come back, and thanks for talking to me.
Yeah, I wish you all the success with this book. Like I said, everybody's already talking about it. I know the reviews are going to be awesome. So
thank you so much. This was so fun.
Yeah, we'll talk soon. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Everyone, I am back, and if you made it this far, I am so sorry about all the Skype issues we were having. We tried and but we did the best we could. We just kind of worked our way through it, and she's so adorable. Everyone go get Hurricane Season out today. You can go. I'm going to link the Amazon link underneath here. I cannot tell you enough about what a great book this is, and I can't wait for her next one. So thank you, Lauren. Thank you for making this happen. And if you enjoyed watching us, please hit like. And if you'd like to get updates on all my videos, please hit subscribe.